Welcome back to school in a very different, crazy way. So some teachers did this at the beginning of the year. We probably would have benefited doing this last week, but with the insanity of the power outage and not having school Monday, and it's just kind of crazy. We kind of it feels like we lost a week. We did not, but it feels like we lost a week. And we probably could have done this on Wednesday or Thursday night, but I feel that a lot of people are still struggling with their hotspots and other things. So we decided that we would do that this week. So it gives us a chance, just the 3 weeks that we've been working, it gives us a chance to realize, okay, this is what's working and this is what's not, and let's get everyone on the same page. So that's kind of the whole point here. Besides the bigger issues of, it'd be really nice to have everyone in a chair in my classroom where I could just watch you all. And that is obviously all of our hearts and hopes and dreams for the future. But since it's not that way, we're making the best of it, and we're going to try to get everyone kind of going in the same direction here. So we have a little PowerPoint. If you're wondering why I feel like I have two monitors. So my camera's on my computer, but I'm looking at all of you there. So it's kind of weird looking, but we do have a PowerPoint. So I'm going to share my screen. And Miss Bennett is here. And I'm Miss Rocker, by the way. If you haven't met me, I'm Miss Rocker. I teach math and science.
I'm Miss Bennett and teach English and social studies.
So I should have started with that, should have led with that. Okay, so, and this is what I do a lot too, because I start getting messages in. So I'm communicating with people from like 5 different devices. All right, so welcome to Back to School Night. I'm gonna go ahead and start this. And Miss Bennett's going to jump in. So we have some online expectations, and we're finding that some are doing an amazing job of this in a very difficult, time. So I've been pretty impressed watching, seeing some of the videos, and you have your setup. It's quiet. I know some places it's almost impossible to find that quiet because of so many things going on. So it's tough. But here are some things that could really help. And some more in our control, and some a little less, but as much as possible, if you could try to work on these things with your students, it would be helpful. Michelle, do you want to go ahead and go over the slide?
Yeah, definitely. So I think the first one is really, it would be helpful if your kids had a designated study area. And I know some of you do. I see the same background, the same, area around your child at all times. But there are some that I see laying in bed sometimes. There are some that are in bed, or some that are in the middle of the living room with like 5 other kids running around, or TV outside of them. So we're really asking, please help us help your child by limiting those distractions, finding somewhere that they can really study. I put up a picture on here of just a sample of a very simple, easy way. If you have anywhere, it's just one of those science boards. I think they're like $1.50, $2. I might even have some extra ones around here. Doesn't necessarily have to be all decorated, but it kind of limits the distractions of people around them. We ask for them to be dressed appropriately. Really what we're asking is to pretend that we are in school. Really be pretending that we are at school. You're up at 8 o'clock, your teeth are brushed, your hair is ready, you have one kid, you have a shirt on, like be dressed, ready to go. We ask for no cell phones while you're on. Again, that's about limiting that distraction. The kids might be playing games on their cell phone, they're texting each other. Their distractions are anywhere, or their attention, is anywhere except for where we are at. And it's really hard when we don't have a lot of face-to-face time with them to be able, that if they're totally in a different place because of everything going on, it's really hard to try to rope in their focus on that. And what I found too is, personally, if I see a kid with a cell phone, or if I see a kid that's in bed, the first thing that I'm like is, okay, hey, can you put that away, please? Or can you get rid of that right now? Like, it's like, you're in class, come on. The first thing that they do is shut off their camera so that I can't see them. Well, what we're finding is that all of the students have their cameras off, and if I in class early, all of a sudden I've got 3 or 4 kids on there that are not answering me or not responding to anything, it's because they've stood up, they wandered off, they went somewhere else. So I'm kind of bouncing around here, but we really are asking, please encourage your child to have the camera on, but the microphone's off. That way we can see their faces. There was at one point that I had 2 kids in my class that were on, and when I'm asking questions, I'm not getting verbal feedback. I can't see their faces. I can't see that they're one, even with me, or 2, if they're paying attention to what I'm saying, or that glazed over look sometimes that I can give them. If I get that, I know that I can back up and I need to go back. And if I don't get feedback from them, or if I'm not able to see them, it's very difficult to gauge if they're on the same page of where they should be. We've asked for headphones to kind of cut down those distractions too. I know I even personally have them in. It just kind of takes everything else out of the room, and it puts you really just right inside your head. There's not a lot of time that it's Miss Rocker and I on there. There's 2 classes of 45 minutes. That's an hour and a half a day, and I know that is a lot, but it's not a lot considering where we would be if we were right next to them and what we could do if we were near them. This is a whole added thing. So we really need their buy-in as much as possible, and that really starts with families also encouraging that as well. I'm kind of jumping around, but we have also asked to be on time and prepared for all classes and to come to all classes. So there's 2 parts to that. The be on time, again, we only have 45 minutes, and we were finding that we come in and I'm trying to take attendance, and I try to do it as the kids are coming in. I try to get on there about 5 minutes early, so I can take that attendance and be ready to go at either 9 o'clock or 10:30 when we start. But what I was finding was kids were coming in late, and then they were coming in later, and I look at the clock, and if class started at 9 o'clock, it's 9:10, and I'm still trying just to get attendance. Well, now that's a big chunk of my class time that's taken just to make sure that everybody's there and who is there and all of that. It would be really nice if we could be a couple minutes early, set an alarm for 2-3 minutes before class starts, log in, and that way we can get going right at the class time. The come to all classes, what we're finding are some kids are coming to either Miss Rocker's class and then not my class, or my class and then not Miss Rocker's class. And it, if it's once in a while, I overslept, that's one thing. But if it's a very continuous, like I haven't seen a couple of kids in a week and a half, that's going to big time affect grades, and it's not going to be conducive for them. When they come back and they are in regular instruction or even hybrid, it's really going to affect them because they're going to be so far behind to even begin with. And then I put on here prepared for all classes. We're going to show our schedule here in just a bit, but again, there are 2 types of learning that we have going on right now. There's synchronous and asynchronous, and these are kind of the buzzwords in education at the moment. But synchronous is what we are doing right now. If you have a question, you can come on, you can ask me. That's it. That's our Zoom meetings. That's where we're right here. If you have questions, you can ask, I can answer. Immediate feedback. Asynchronous is still very important into their education. We can't have them on Zoom all day long, every day. 8 hours online or 6 hours online would just be impossible for everybody. So there is work that they have to do outside of class. And I know for me, what I've asked is that the kids are reading the material ahead of time so that when we come into class, we can discuss the material. For my social studies class, it's 1 page. And I know some of you, it's 8th graders. I had 8th graders come back after lunch today because out of all of my kids, I had 4 that admitted to me that they actually did the reading. And I can't move forward. I can't move forward on instruction or any of that if the kids are not doing what they need to do on their time. And I think we're all on the same page. We don't want to get them behind. We really want to push education and our curriculum forward as much as we can during this difficult time, even though it's hard. Do you want to add to that? Sorry, I kind of went on a tangent on it, but
no, you're fine. So I've been having the same problem. Today I have a little thing that keeps track of when people came in. I had people showing up to class at 9:15, 9:20. So that was with my first period. 10:45, you know, or someone came in at 10:28, which is perfect, and they left at 10:50. So, so it's really difficult to move forward with the math or with whatever when they're not getting the instruction. And we've done, we finished chapter 1 and we're moving into chapter 2 with 7th grade. I've seen some people maybe, you know, not very often. So being on time. So I'm going to go ahead and take that. I want to just show you what we're talking about here. So I'm going to jump to the next slide. I think it's the next slide. There's a sample schedule. So I'm going to jump and then come back to that. So I'm going to show you my Google Classroom so you can get an idea. And Michelle, tell me if it's not popping up. Okay.
You're good.
All right. So this is a Google Classroom, and your kids are sitting right there, and they can, hopefully, if they're sitting right there, they can actually on their device pull up the Google Classroom and show you. And so they can show you how to do this, how to look. You should be able to sit down with them at any time, look at their Google Classroom. There's some tabs at the top here. They should have stream classwork and people. They don't have grades. And so the stream is just like that constant stream of consciousness. Every time I put something, it puts it there, but it's not really organized. And sometimes I don't know. I had to help a high schooler last year when we all went, and I was trying to go through the stream and try to find assignments, and it was just ridiculous. So that's just hard. So you go to classwork, and we can organize this using categories, and it just really kind of stands out. So this year, just after experiencing last year, the categories I decided is up at the top, kind of the office hours and resources. So that's the important stuff right there. Like office hours and tutoring, the link is always there. So for the office hour times, I even have a virtual whiteboard each student has. So if they come onto office hours, we share the whiteboard and we go over problems together. Shout out Julian Mata, I see him on here. He did that the other day and he just did an amazing job on his work, and we were able to sit there and work on it together. And it's just like sitting next to him in a desk, but socially distanced. So that's available. Not only that, is if I'm available and a student says, you know, it's not office hours, but it's not in the middle of class, obviously. It's 11:30, my office hours start at 12:45, but you know, are you available? Can we walk through this? And if I'm not, I will say no. And if I am, I'll get on office hours and we can walk through stuff. Okay. Check your grades. We'll talk about a little bit later, but there's that. Missing work. I'll talk about that when we talk about grades, and then some other resources like how to add attachments to your assignments. And then I have a today tab, and then I have a this week tab. And so today, this is what, and this is what we did today. You can kind of see where I'm going tomorrow. I have a little link that will pop up tomorrow at 8 a.m. And then this is the week. So I'll bump stuff down every morning. So I'm coming back to schedule. I'm talking about being on time. We're assuming, so we had this, you know, Ms. Bennett and I were talking, and, you know, we have this virtual time. We have this distance learning where we can make it look different if we want to. We don't have an 8:20 bell that's saying, you got to be there at 8:20. So what we decided, what I thought might be good is for kids of the ages that we're teaching, you know, they're not always, they're slow to wake up, and that's just their natural rhythm. So we thought, well, they can get up at 8, slowly wake up as they're going through and seeing what they need to do. There's going to be a warm up tomorrow morning. So they would do their warm up. They would do their reading for social studies. Is just one page. They could do this stuff and slowly kind of wake up before they actually have to be on, you know, on meaning like we're on Zoom, we're answering questions, we're talking, we're got the camera going. And so that was the point of that 8 to 9 o'clock hour. And I told the kids, I said, if you guys aren't using that, then we'll just start class at 8:20. We'll just go 8:20 and we'll stay on Zoom the whole time and meet or whatever. And we'll stay on Zoom the whole time so that I can get you where you need to be. But I don't think that's necessarily beneficial for them. And I don't, you know, honestly, I think it's could be more beneficial for them the way it is now if they will get up and get going. So 8 o'clock, they do this, they're checking, they're saying, oh, gee, 1.4, that's what we did yesterday is due today. I'm going to work on that until class starts. or, oh, that diagnostic test, there's 3-part diagnostic test. They did one Monday, one today, one tomorrow. Like, oh, that diagnostic test, I can get that done right now. And so they have that time at 8 o'clock. But what I'm finding is people are not getting up. They're getting up like at 8:58 and they're hopping on the meet. They haven't even looked at what's due. So that's how we have it designed. But if we need to get them on at 8:20 so that they can start looking at stuff and doing stuff, we're kind of considering that. But we thought we'd talk to you guys first so you kind of know our philosophy and where we're coming from on that. And maybe that will help. Okay, so that's what it looks like. I'm gonna come back to here, exit full screen, and I'm gonna click on, I don't know if I can click on yours, Miss Bennett, without you sharing. So I'm gonna go back actually to this.
Or
okay. So I'm gonna go back to this. So, and I'm gonna click on this and you can talk about it. How's that?
Okay.
So Ms. Bennett has put together a sample schedule. Now that you can know our bigger, take a step back and know what our philosophy was going into this, giving them time to kind of function in the morning before we get them on. And so here's a sample schedule.
So this kind of came together just in case some of you might be in the same situation. I went down with the power outage last week and I was helping my niece with her work and she kept saying, nope, all I have to do is just go to my classes. I don't have work in between. And I was like, something doesn't sound right. And so I pulled up hers and I kind of went through and I told her, we looked at her schedule, her teacher had a schedule like this. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I have to do for my kids. So this is new this week, but I think that it really will be helping. And parents, I think that this is going to be beneficial for you. This is up on Monday, gives you the whole week of what the plan is so that you can see where we're at. So you can see this is a 7th grade schedule. This is this week. So 8:20 to 9 a.m. you have your social emotional learning. That's that time period that we were saying, get up, get going. This is just my English and social studies. So they come in, the Rise and Shine is just a quick, how are you feeling today? I will tell you, I had more students do it today than yesterday, but yesterday I had 21 of our 70 kids that filled that out for me. So only 21 of them were getting in there before class. I asked for them to watch their CNN, respond. They have a slideshow every week. It's just a quick, what did they talk about today? What is your thoughts on this? What did you learn? And then to read their chapter. Now this lesson, some days it's maybe, like if it's a book, maybe just one page. Some days it's 2. I chose the National Geographic textbook because the lessons were short and sweet, because I know like with certain textbooks, you pick them up and they're very overwhelming. I didn't want it to be that way. And so it's kind of working out now. That link for that textbook is directly on my Google Classroom. They click the button, it pulls it right to it. From 8:30 to 9, Ms. Rocker and I are available in office hours. If my link is not up for my office hours, the kids have been encouraged to just text me. I can help them. I know some of the kids are really good about that. If I get anything from 8 o'clock on, I'm golden. I will help with anything that is needed. At 9 o'clock, they are in meeting with me. Of course, 8th grade, they're going to be opposite. So when I have 7th graders, Ms. Rocker has the 8th graders. When I have the 8th graders, Ms. Rocker has 7th. So they have their Google Meet. This is, it says what we did in class. So guided discussion on chapter 1, lesson 1.2, compare and contrast. They get a 10-minute break, just as if they're in school for recess, use the bathroom, get a snack, get something to drink, take, a minute to go outside. I mean, maybe not get a breath of fresh air. It's a little smoky, but we try. And then they have their independent work from 9:55 to 10:30. So if your kid is telling you, yep, I'm just waiting for my next class to start, well, they have work that they need to be doing. And then at 10:30 to 11:15, and this is a little different for me just because Miss Rocker's stuff is not in here, they have their meet. And then same thing, 11:15 to 12 o'clock, they have their independent work to do for math. They go to lunch at 12 o'clock to 12:45. Sometimes there's lunch pickup if you're able to go. And if you do not know, they have free lunches available, breakfast and lunches available for all kids. please come get it. Utilize that because it's not going to be around forever. And they're really encouraging families, please come pick them up. They have the food. So we have office hours from 12:45 to 1:15. This is really the kids' independent work time on anything, math, English, social studies, science, any of it that can be in there. But from 12:45 to 1:15, Ms. Rocker and I are in our office hours. Office hours is literally, I'm sitting here waiting for somebody to come and ask me for help. Come get on there. If you need help logging into something, if you have questions about the assignment, literally anything, that is what we're doing. We're sitting here and waiting. I will tell you, I have not had a kid show up in a week and a half. And then I'm looking at my grades and I'm like, I don't know what more I can do if you're not coming and asking and taking advantage of these times, even though I'm saying it every day and I'm sitting here and waiting, you know, there's not much more that I can do to help. So please encourage your children to take advantage of those times. Lori, can you scroll down a little for me? Sorry, I don't have control over the screen.
There, sorry.
There is, yeah. So at the same time in the afternoon, so the kids have their independent work time. You can see that they do need to be reading 30 minutes a day for AR. AR is due on October 2nd. This is a hard and fast deadline. They've had their AR goal since the first week of school. I know getting books was a challenge. I can talk about that in a little bit on how I've helped do that. They have art assignment to work on. This is also, though, if you scroll even farther, Lori, sorry.
Oh,
we have pullouts for some of our kids. So I've talked to these individuals. I've got books for some of them to come and pick up. If I haven't talked to your child, then they know about it. But Ms. Webb has her help with resource from 12:30 to 1:15. Those students know what days they're supposed to go. It's very clearly written in here. The students that are English learners, they have their time from 1 to 1:30 with Miss Olivia, and that's actually going to be just 2 days a week, but they can see that they're in there. And then Read 180 is going to be with Miss Grug, and that is going to be our Title I. That's going to be our extra help with reading. She's got a great program called Read 180 that the kids will be doing. That is a 5-day-a-week program. So if your child has been talked to you about that, and if they haven't said it to you and they're supposed to be in there, I know because I have their book still and I'll be contacting you. If you haven't heard anything about it, then your kid will probably not be in that. And then this one's really important when we get back to school on things that are happening after school, but right now there's not a whole lot. But you can see after school ends at 2:50. We have things for them to do from 8 o'clock till 2:50, just when school gets out, just as if it's a normal school day. Even if they don't have the pull out between math and between 30 minutes of reading and doing their art project and doing their assignment that's left over from the morning, they should have plenty to keep them busy for the afternoon. And if they need more, let me know because they're that far ahead. I'd be happy to push farther forward. But this will be available every week. You'll be able to see if you have printer access, print it off, use it as a checklist. Did you do this? Yes. Did you do that? Yes. Or, hey, we need to go back and do this. The big part really though for me is going to be that 8 to 9:20 piece. I mean, as far as being ready for class, make sure that you're ready. 8 to 9, I'm sorry. I don't know what I said, but yes, be prepared. When it was really hard today when I start asking a question and I have 30 kids that, one, I can't see them, and two, they're not answering because they have no idea what I'm talking about. And it's, you know, I told them it's really hard. This is how high school will be. We have not given homework in a long time. As a campus, it's kind of been our philosophy to not give homework. But in high school, they're going to have to read chapters to be able to come to the class, to be able to do this. And they're going to have to go home and do their homework to be ready to go the next day. So at this point, this is what we are asking and what needs to happen.
Yeah, and you can see all of that, you know, all the information there, and some of those spots, for example, you know, 9:55, this independent work, if they're just coming out of my class, should be working on their math or getting ready. There's plenty to fill the time. So so we're gonna go here. 8th grade sample schedule is gonna be the same concept. Office hours, again, And they can contact us. I mean, there's the kids who want to get a hold of us have been very creative about getting a hold of us. And we've been pretty good about, I mean, I've been answering questions and questions and questions. So we've been pretty good about it, but then there's those that just leave like a random, I don't get it in the middle of an assignment, or I might get a text on a Sunday afternoon, which I am probably not going to answer. So those kinds of things are frustrating when we know we've been sitting in office hours from 8:30 to 9 every morning, 12:45 to 1:15, and it's been silent. And we've encouraged them and say, hey, you got to get there. Or even, you know, I will have my 8th grade from 9 to 9:45. Sometimes we go a little long, but I many times leave that meet open till almost 10:30 when the 7th graders, I'm kicking people off. And if someone's struggling, I'm there. What do we need to do? What can we do here? They just have to stay. As soon as it's kind of like when recess bell rings, everyone runs out the door. It's kind of like that, but the thing is that it's kind of like that almost all day long. And I can understand it for a short recess or for a lunch break because they're hungry, but they're doing that all day long. It's like they're in recess unless they're on Zoom, or Meet. Okay, let's move on to the next thing because I know that everybody's got stuff going on. So Power School grades and attendance count, and we have been taking attendance and doing grades. So they can check their Power School, and they have, you know, we handed it out on physical pieces of paper. They also, the kids have in their drive a document that has all their stuff in it. So I walked someone through this today, and I realized there's a couple things I want to go over with you guys as far as this goes. There's a link at the top here that says check your grades. So they'll check their grades and they'll go to that. And then they'll put in their information. That obviously I'm signed in, so apparently you're going to see my teacher side of things, but you will normally see something that looks like this, but it won't say teacher. Okay, so student and parent, let's see if we can do that. Student and parent. And so the kids will put in their username and password. There are parent usernames and passwords. You may know them. I always just give the kids their student ones. It's actually, I think the sign-in's much easier, but so they can check that. Okay, there we go. Okay, so then, so you'll sign in. What you will see when you do that, let me go back to my present mode, is something like this. It will be a much bigger screen with a lot more information, but I wanted to focus in on this one because I didn't want someone's name to be on this, but also so you could really focus in on the important part. So you're going to see some grades there, and the one particular student I was talking to said, well, I see that I have a D, but I don't know what's missing. How do I know it's missing? And it's kind of funny because we've talked about this a lot as an 8th grader. And so sometimes everybody's kind of learning at a different pace, but these grades can actually be clicked on. So when you're in Power School and you log in and you look at the grades, you can actually click on it. So I'll show you an example. You click on the grade and it pops up with all of the individual grades and the codes and the percentages. So let me tell you a little bit about the percentages. And I think Ms. Bennett might use some different codes, but you're going to see different things like 133%. So they did get more math and they did extra points that day. If you look somewhere along here, there's a get more math and they didn't do a lot of points that day, right? So what happens is those get more math points that they did, those extra ones sometimes roll in. So it kind of works out for them a little bit. The extra credit on one assignment kind of rolled to help in with the deficit on the other one. But you'll see a lot of coding, NT, NC, and one that you don't see on here is ATT, okay? I don't know what that says.
That's what that's my code.
Oh, that's yours, NE. Okay, thank you. I was like, I didn't type that. Okay, so NT is not turned in. Like they didn't turn it in at all. So not at all. NC is like they turned it in, but they didn't complete it. Maybe they only did a couple things, or maybe this, on Google Classroom, they're notorious for just clicking turn in, but they haven't done their work. So that's NC. And then attempted, but did not, ATT or NE on Miss Bennett's basically they attempt it, but they didn't pass. So they really did the math assignment. They really tried to do it. They did all 18 problems, but they got 6 of them right. So that's below 50%. So we give them an ATT to give them the 50%. That way it doesn't dig them in that big of a hole. Anyway, so that's our grading policy here at Jamestown. So that's kind of what a grade update would look like. So this person's wondering, well, why do I have a D? Well, if they click on the grade, they see, why did I have a D? Oh, okay, that's why I had a D. Okay, so there's that. Now that comes into play then for math, and I'm speaking math and science only right now, and Ms. Bennett can I'm not sure how she's doing this, but so for that reason, some people need some makeup work to do. They have a lot of work, and I've seen people make up all the work. They had a D, now they have an A kind of thing. I've seen that happen. But especially since everything's online and we're using so many different programs, I cannot, and I did this last spring and it was very difficult with like 15 people participating. So I can imagine with 30 people in each class participating. So instead of me going back and double checking, I created a form. So they get an assignment done. They actually have to click on, that's the wrong form, missing work form. And they click on the form and then they fill it out. The grade, the subject, what is the name of the assignment, and that has to match what it says on the grade update. So if you go back to it actually says what the name is, so they actually have to type that in. And then there's a date, so they have to put that date in. Missing work. And then they put in, the date that assignment was, so I can cross-check that. And then do you want me to check it, recheck it, check your records because you did it and I missed it, and any other comments. And they have to submit that for every single thing they're missing. And I'll tell you what I tell them. You missed the boat on me grading this in a timely fashion, so I will get to this before the next grade update, and it may be tomorrow and it may be next week, but it will get in your grades. And if if it doesn't, you have the right to call me on it, but it's not going to be necessarily timely when I'm still trying to stay current. So I'll do my best on that. All right, and I can tell you, if they show up at office hours and ask, then it's a lot more likely that I'll just look it up right there and fix it. If they come to office hours, that would be a good reason to do that. Okay, so that's grading. Ms. Bennett, anything you would like to add to that?
I will probably take that same form. I'll have Ms. Rocker share it with me because, again, pretty much any issue that we have, we both have. And if we use the same exact form, then the kids can get very consistent with what we do between the two classes. Ms. Rocker and I communicate every day, pretty much all day, just to try to stay on board and stay, there's a lot of kids, and sometimes I know things that she doesn't and she knows things that I don't. We communicate all the time just to make sure we stay on. So if the kids are doing something that's working over there, we'll use it over here and do the same, and vice versa. So yeah, my grading scale is pretty much the same. The only thing is that on mine, you will only see 2 things. You'll see NT or you'll see NE. And what I do is NT not turned in, or NE no effort. And that might be that I took a test and I failed it. Well, if you failed it, you could have studied more probably, or you weren't following along in the class. You didn't put the effort in that was needed. Or if it's that I answered 1 question and there are 8 questions on that worksheet, then there's not effort put into that assignment. So for me, it was just easier for my little brain to just say no effort all the way across the board. Some of the assignments, I will be fully honest, in Google Classroom, if I saw that they answered like one of them, sometimes I'll just put it in as NT. It's easier for me to see that it's missing, and then I can go back and look at it that way. So they might have done one problem. Like if they did, like I had a couple kids that there was an essay and they wrote 2 words on that. I'm not going to count that as that they even put an effort in at all. It counts as an NT on there. As far as grading though,
and they can get, if it's an assignment that they submit through Google Classroom, they can unsubmit that and redo it. It's not like turned in, never get it back. That's a nice thing. They don't turn it in and that disappears on my desk, which is, my desk is a black hole of completed work. So it's really nice. So hold on a sec. Okay, so when it comes to turning stuff in, they can always look and see. Now, my goal back when I was thinking, yeah, this is gonna be awesome, I can do this, was to put grades into Google Classroom and into PowerSchool. I was like, I'm not so good at that, although I did put a bunch of grades into Google Classroom. So you can sometimes see where I've graded it on Google Classroom. Sometimes I'll just put it straight to the grade book because double, if it could just import directly from Google Classroom into PowerSchool, I would just, that would be my dream, but it doesn't do that. So so I'm trying to do that, but yeah, moving on. Okay, so contact information. If you've not signed up for Remind, here are some codes here. We sent this paper home at the very beginning, so maybe you just kind of toss it to the side. There's actually a different way to do this as well. You can text this one number, a code to this, a phone number, and it will automatically enroll you. But that you guys would have that paper from when we did the paper and Chromebook handouts. But you could also just do this here. And I'll leave this up for a little bit. These are our phone numbers. Phone numbers are good. We're just that back and forth communication. I'm sorry, sometimes I don't get back 100% of the time. I will try to, especially if I get something after hours. I'm not as timely on getting back. If I get something during hours, I'm really good about getting right back to it. But the Remind is a really good way to send out like group information. And I know you guys have probably all been on group chats where like one person starts a group chat and you're in it, and then all of a sudden now you're just inundated with all the different replies back. You're like, okay, enough. I don't need one more reply on this. So that's the whole point of Remind. I can send stuff out and you can reply back to me and ask questions about it, but it's not going to everybody else. It's just the reply is just going straight back to me or to Ms. Bennett. So that's kind of nice. And we can just send out on the Remind quick stuff like we did today. I kind of bombarded you with stuff. And it's just really quick and easy to get that information. So I'm keeping this up. So if you needed to write stuff down, you could do that. Now would be good. I haven't been monitoring the chat. So I don't know if there's anything in the chat. Ms. Bennett,
Carrie.
the chat? I got Carrie saying that she didn't want to show her face, so.
Yeah, I got that too. And that's kind of what we do in class. I'll read the message.
Her computer wasn't working with the chat, but with the videos, but I had to give her a hard time. I do that too. I give kids a hard time. Still here. Thank you, Carrie, for still being here. So I don't know, my chat's looking really weird right now. So, because I'm kind of got split to 3 different screens. So are you able to monitor the chat, Ms. Bennett?
Yeah, we're good.
So we're good. Okay.
Jason, do we have an estimated start back date? Is
okay,
that the next slide? Actually,
and I know everybody's probably got that in the back of their minds, and I'm not gonna. Anything that I say here is definitely, we don't know. That's one thing you can take away from this is we don't know. So there are some schools starting, and we just went through Labor Day. So there's the big holidays and the anticipation of a spike afterwards. There's school starting and the anticipation that maybe there'll be a spike in COVID cases. The other issue is just being prepared. So like, how do we work with transportation? How do we do this? How do we split people up? If we have multiple kids in a family, do you want them separate so you can give them, one-on-one time on those days when they have to be home? Or do you want them together to get them out of the house so you can have it quiet, or those are your days you're going to go into work? Those are the questions that, there's a lot of questions. So rather than all of a sudden just like, oh, we're going to start school, we want to make the situation the best for everybody. So that takes time. So we're in the process of working that out. One thing that you can do, and I'll go ahead and change the slide here, is that you can fill this survey out. Now you look at that and it's like forms.blah. So the link is also available on the school website, which is jspanthers.org. So if you go to that link, there's a Spanish survey also available. So you click on the form, you fill it out. You're thinking to yourself, well, this is like the 5th survey I filled out. Probably. This one is very specific to if we were to start here in the next month, what do we need to do for you? And how can we serve your family best? And so the last surveys were a little more general. This survey is very specific. We said in the very beginning that we would reevaluate at the progress report. Progress report is the very beginning of October. We will reevaluate. At that time, if the COVID cases stay low and we're in good shape like we have been, then we will start to work towards moving into the soft opening, into the hybrid model. And we will start with the hybrid model. And yes, we will be wearing masks. And we do have social distancing, but it'll be lovely to see people in person. I mean, really, honestly. So, so that is the plan at this time. Not just to like wait until October and see. But we are making all of the plans. We're doing a lot in the background to make plans to like be ready to start maybe mid-October, like ready to hit the ground. We don't know if we will be, but we're making the plans in case. Okay. And so that way, if we get to beginning of October and we say, yes, we can do it, we're gonna have a plan in place, and it's gonna be, oh, thank you. and we'll have a plan in place, and we'll be able to move forward in a very organized fashion that serves all of us best. Okay, so.
For that survey also, please fill it out for every student that you have.
Yes.
Not just one student. It's what would you want for individual. If you have more than one student, it's the same link. Fill it out for one, start it over, fill it out for the next one. I think the last ones have been, like Ms. Rucker said, very generalized, but this is a little bit more specific. Yeah.
And just to give you one specific things, you know, let's say the class size is 15. I think it is 15, but it could be 14, it could be 16, whatever. So let's say it is 15 and you have a class of 20. We don't have a class of 20. We're probably going to be split into two no matter what, with classes of 30 plus, but a class of 20 and 6 people decide to stay home and distance learn. Well, now that class is under 15. And that class, the ones that decide to go back every day, could go back every day. And so unless you sign that, did I say that right? So unless you do the form for every kid, we might miss some of that data. So Chinese camp, very good chance that when we do start, it's a very good chance if their numbers stay under 15 that they'll be going every day. Except for Wednesdays. Wednesdays will always be planning. There will be some classes that are smaller that can go every day. I honestly do not anticipate the 7th and 8th grade can go every day because we just will have too many kids. So I don't know if that answered your question.
I'm going to cut in on the chat, Stephanie. I agree. This is beyond overwhelming. It is so much. Please know you're not the only one feeling that way. And I know that I've had multiple conversations with Ms. Rucker and probably some of the parents even too, that I'm in tears over it. It is a lot. Know that we're giving our all and we're just trying to get everyone on the same. The sign-in info to see the grades your child should have in the front of their ELA notebook. It's PowerSchool. It's a very, very strange code for them. And then is bus transportation an option? Yes, there is bus transportation. They do need to know if, and it's on that survey, if you want them to ride the bus, if they will be riding the bus or not. Do you have anything else, Ms. Rucker?
So I'm going to show you guys a trick that I tell the kids. So they have a Google Drive, and most of them, hopefully all of them, can find Google Drive. Okay. So if you want to know what their passwords are and stuff like that, and we gave out those sheets, but they've gotten lost because, believe me, we understand that. You go to their Google Drive, just simply come up to this search and drive, and I'm just going to pick a name, Dane Hager. As soon as you do that, you're going to see something that if it's 8th grade, it'll say 8 and then their name. If it's 7th grade, it will be 7 and then their name. That's their password page. That's their login page. They can just click on that. I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to flash all of Dane's passwords out to the world. But you click on that, and there's the passwords. And then in Chrome, and I don't know what browser you guys are using, but you can go ahead and bookmark that. So create a little bookmark that goes up there that they can always just go to, or you can go to. And let me see that. Oh yeah, that's where that. And so I will be encouraging them to do that more often. I kind of got the whole bookmark idea. Like, why don't I just have them bookmark that? But that's a quick way just to put their name in there. Google that and to get them going. And then you can just click on that and see what their passwords are. Because that is, the kids are lost with that as well. So I can imagine you guys would be like, how many I don't knows can you guys handle, right? Okay, any other questions?
Big pieces, and I don't have this set up, so let me know if you can see it.
That's it, yeah.
One of the big pieces for English class is going to be that independent reading time. You know, like I tell the kids, and I get kids that are like, I'm not good at it, I'm so bad, or I don't like it. The only way you can get better is to keep doing it and keep reading. When all of this hit, I went, oh my gosh, like I have a whole bookshelf full of books. I buy books all year round, whether I'm at garage sales or online that I'm seeing them, or wherever, Scholastic, anything. I'm constantly adding to it. How do I get books to kids? And I actually made a joke. I'm friends with my 7th grade teacher, English teacher, online on Facebook. And I said, Miss Russell, how do I teach English without books? And she said, use memes. And I said, I'm not doing that. So I've spent the last couple of weeks literally like, I don't know what to do. I know I'm saying AR goal. How do I get your kid books to reach that? How do I make this a thing for them? So there are a few things that I wanted to show you so that you can be doing it. Epic Books is one, and the kids totally know how to get on there. The issue with Epic is that you can only access Epic until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It shuts down. It's closed, but it is free. There's a lot of books on there. There are audio books on there. A lot of them on Epic are lower level books. And that was the other big issue. I've got some very high level readers, and I have some lower, but I have some high level readers. And so I'm trying to hit all of them. I can see what the kids are doing on there, but they're able to see. I can assign them books to read. There are a lot of books on here. The kids have kind of gotten into the I Survived books. It's like a historical fiction. There's a lot on here. Diary of the Wimpy Kid. I really ask them not to read those because they're not my favorite. They're not. If they're gonna pick up a book, pick it up if that's what it's gonna take. But try to get on from something different. So this is one option. Second option is that at the beginning of the year in your arena registration folder, and this one really goes on to the parents, that you guys filled out, if you wanted to, a library card application. Those cards should be coming in the mail to your house. You're able to log on through the county, and they have digital ebooks that you can check out through the county library. So you have those as an option. I want to show you, I've got a few things, so bear with me. AR, I'm going to just be fully honest, AR is 20% of their grade. They have to be reading, they read the books, they have to be in their level, they take the test, they pass the test, they earn the points. They know all of this. I also sent home postcards. You should have received a postcard from me that talked about their goal. So I'm going to go on. This is my Google Classroom. Same thing. I'm going into classwork. You can see mine is separated the same way that Miss Rocker's is. There's my agenda. So there's two things. So my digital library, I don't know if it's the most legal thing, but I have found, I got a link from somebody that has a ton of PDFs to books. And so I've been uploading those. I have a ton more to do. I just have to sit down and have time to do it. But let me go back into this. It shows it a little better. In digital library, I've got the entire Warriors collection. These are very popular with the kids right now. The Fault in Our Stars, Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. I've got the Hunger Games series on here. I have the Harry Potter, except for the first book. So if you click view more, Narnia, Percy Jackson, Aragon series. These are a higher level books. Most of them are. But if you click on it, it pulls up the PDF of the book, and the kids can read the book right there online. And like I said, I'll be adding more on there. This one's, 367 pages. So, like I said, higher level. The last way that this is a brand new thing with the kids, and this one does require a little bit of patience. If you go into, I'm still in my Google Classroom, but if I go into my links and websites, so let me start back at classwork just to walk you through it. I'm trying to go as quick as I can. If I go into my classwork and I scroll down to links and websites, it says Miss Bennett Class Library Checkout. This is my class library, the books that I physically have in my classroom. The kids, I've showed them how to sign in. So they'll sign in, they join in with my classroom username and password. And then they are able to log in as a student. They each have their name on here. They put in their password. So it's password protected. It's going to be their lunch card number. And they have access to all of the books in my classroom. I can see what they are wanting to check out. I'll just kind of show you what I have so far. It'll pull up all of the books in my library, and then I'm able to see that these students want to check out books, and it tells me the student's name and the book. I will go and pull it off my shelf, and then on Mondays and Tuesdays, pretty much anytime in the afternoons, you let me know if we can meet up. I will meet you. I will hand the book off to you. They can have whatever they need. I've asked for a 2-week checkout, and then they bring it back and I can exchange it. But this is how, instead of just putting my entire library outside, they're able to still scroll through, check the book that they want, and they still have access to all of it. I'm pretty flexible with it. You can just let me know if I'm trying to get them as many access to books as they can. It's important for them to be reading. It's important for them to stay up on it. I know it's sometimes pulling teeth with some kids, and I do apologize for that, but it's big. Reading is, in this day and age, reading is important for every subject, whether it's social studies or science or math, even, that you have to be able to read and comprehend the problems and the assignments. So just staying up on that is important. Does anybody, I think was that in the chat there? Let me see.
Okay. Yeah, digital for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Kendra. And she put a link up there, Open Library. I haven't seen that. But yes, using digital, we're just trying to get as many options that work. That way we can hit every kid and fulfill what they need and what works best for them. I know staring at a computer screen all day and then staring at a computer screen to read a book, personally, I wouldn't be able to do it. And that's why I really want to get them physical paper books in their hands, limit some of that screen time, because we have to do it. We can't avoid it anymore. Okay, I think that's all that I really had to say. Does anybody have anything specific that we can help with, or anything we can go back over? I know it was a lot, and thank you for bearing with us. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing. You don't need all of my stuff.
So whenever we get to something that we are, for example, we have to attach, the kids are learning how to take work that they've written on paper and how to take a picture of it and attach it to the assignments. And so as much as possible, when we run into something like that, I am trying to video the instructions of how do you do that and post those attachments to your assignment. So I know that it's difficult, and I know if I'm showing someone how to do it, they may be listening or they may be watching and then have to watch it a few more times. So I try to include videos whenever possible. Okay, so I've got videos here on that. I have a lot of videos. Roadmaps account registration. We're doing a diagnostic test. So I did a video of how to log into that. Because kids were absent or not getting on. I have a video on how to do 1.3 number of solutions. So I've been adding a lot of videos. I'm uploading them to my YouTube so that they can watch them on their phones or whatever. And and as far as that goes, I'm trying to video as much as possible because I know that we need to have access to stuff after the fact. Now, that's not to avoid going to class, but it's for those who are like, yeah, I was watching, but I didn't quite catch it, and so I need to see it 5 more times before it really sinks in. I'm even one of those people. So so I've been trying to do that. So if you guys are stuck on something or like, can you just show me how to do that? I can create a video for that and post it. Okay, so just communicate with us when we have issues and stuff like that. But we're more than willing to help out. And if it's something that Miss Bennett's doing and she doesn't know how to do the video, she'll call me and say, can you make me a video? Can you show me how to do that? So, all right. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing again.
Yeah, connection issues are a big
issues. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Tiffany. We're trying. We're trying. I know half the battle is just the fact that all of our classes on Google Classroom. I know there's schools that classes are all over the place. One's on Google Classroom, someone else is doing something else, someone else is doing something else. So I know that's half the battle, but it's still overwhelming. It really is. I've been working with Google Classroom for probably 3 or 4 years, and it's just since distance learning that I really feel like I know it. So you guys are like, you know, benefiting from that, but it's a huge learning curve. So anytime you need help with anything or need it finding something, let us know.
Yeah, communication is key. You know, let us know. Attendance, if your child is not able to log in, if you're having connection issues, or if you are having anything, if they're sick, you know, please call the office, but letting Ms. Rucker or myself know also. We have to take attendance, but we communicate, you know, did this person show up for you? Did they not show up for me? Sometimes 7th graders I don't see them, but the 7th graders are on my attendance list. So we want to make sure that we're counting all of that. Just please open that line of communication with us. We're here for you guys. And you know, we're one big team. We're one big team to make all of this the best it can be. We're all learning. This is new for everybody. So we are just all trying to get through it as positive as we possibly can.
Yep.
And Julian, can you complete yeah.
You guys are doing a good job. Like when you have appointments and stuff, calling into the office, that's just the same normal thing that you would do. Someone's sick, we call. And then Lisa's sending us emails and text messages about that. So you keep doing that just like we normally would. You know, if you know that there's going to be an appointment coming up, just shoot them a message. So, and cross your fingers that there'll be no more power outages.
Yes. Yeah.
That really messed us up. I mean, between hotspots and the internet and everything else, just keep your fingers crossed because that was not fun. So, all right. So
7th. So my grades for English and social studies have been updated. 8th grade I just put in today. 7th grade I put in Monday. What is today? Tuesday? I put them in Sunday 2 days ago. Please be checking those grades. There are a lot of missing assignments, a lot. So please be checking those, being up to date on those. And then 7th graders, if you have not come and picked up your reading material for the book, we're starting in a class novel, and I have asked for everybody to come and pick it up. I'm kind of looking at my list. I think most of you did, but 7th graders, if you haven't picked up your book, please come do so. Please don't make me call all of the parents to come do it. And they're all ready to go though. And we're going to start that book tomorrow. So I'm going to be prepared.
All right. Well, if you don't have any other questions for us, you believe me, I know you got families and food and other things. So you guys feel free to head out. If you do have a question, want to hang out, go ahead and do that.